Developing a Positive Mindset by Breaking Barriers Training. This is a short course on how to stay positive even in difficult situations. What we will discuss today is the definition of positive mindset, some models and techniques of positive mindset, and the application. What can we do in our life to stay in a healthy mindset? Not necessarily always positive, but a healthy mindset. So let us begin with the definition of positive thinking. Positive thinking, or an optimistic attitude, is the practice of focusing on the good in any given situation. It can have a big impact on your physical and mental health. That doesn't mean you ignore reality or make light of problems, which means when you're sad, do not ignore those negative emotions. Just accept them, be aware of them, and also at the same time be hopeful that these negative emotions and these difficult times will pass. And again, you will have peace and happiness in your life. That is a positive mindset, my dear friends. Let us now look at a psychological concept, which is called cognitive behavior therapy. According to cognitive behavior therapy, thoughts, emotions, and our behaviors are interconnected, or they influence each other. Our thoughts, what we think, affects how we feel and act. So it's basically our thinking affecting our feelings and emotions and behavior. Sometimes if we think negative, we feel negative. And when we feel negative, we end up behaving negative, which in the end again makes us think more negative, and we might go into a negative spiral. So behavior, what we do or say, affects how we think and feel. So people who say a lot of negative things, people who act negatively, their emotions and thoughts are also getting affected through that negative behavior, through those negative behaviors of saying negative things to others or doing negative things to self or others. So be careful of your behaviors. Be careful of what you say or do to yourself. Be careful of what you say or do to others, because it will have an impact on your emotions and your thoughts. Emotions, again, what we feel affects how we think and act. So the day you're feeling really, really negative or sad, your behavior will show it. Your thoughts will again be affected by your feelings. So these three things are totally interrelated. And interestingly, if you change any one of these, the others will also get affected. For example, if you go for a run, for example, if you're feeling low and unhappy, if you go to a party, suddenly you again start feeling better. If you start feeling better, you start thinking better, and your emotions also get cured. At the same time, if you're getting a negative thought and you can't stop a negative thought from coming into your mind, but what you do once a negative thought is there, if you shift your focus to a more positive thought, that will immediately affect your emotions and behavior. So you're going for a run, going to a party, going to a place, or even listening to a music which elates your feelings and makes you happy, doing things that make you happy. If you do those things, it will affect your emotions and thoughts. So that's the model of cognitive behavior therapy, which says if we can change our thoughts or our behaviors, our feelings will also change, and we will get into a positive state of mind. The second model is called rational behavior therapy. Let's look at what Muhammad Ali said. He said, it's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief, and once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. Now, these things can be positive or negative. these affirmations, which are usually positive, but those affirmations are simply thoughts. So once these thoughts are repeated in our mind, they become a belief. And once they become a belief, they will drive our behavior. So as per Dr. Albert Ellis, he gave us the model of ABCDE. Let's look at that model. So there's an activating event or situation. This could be a customer challenging you, calling you names, or a boss, being very rude to you. Suddenly there's a belief about that event that is triggered in our mind. Say somebody else criticized you while you were a child or you were growing up, and which made you think that probably people don't like me. If you have that negative belief in your mind that, I am not good enough or people don't like me, if that belief gets triggered, the consequence will be emotional consequence that will affect us negatively, and we will start feeling bad for ourselves, and we'll start feeling like a victim, let's say, and saying, oh my God, why me? Why does it always happen with me? Why do only I meet all the wrong people in this world? What we need to do here, my dear friends, according to Dr. Albert Ellis, we need to dispute or challenge those irrational beliefs. This could be just one time that your manager shouted at you. This could be just one time that one customer behaved irrationally or behaved irately with you, okay? He was angry with you. And sometimes we are not able to look at it from a broad perspective, from 30,000 feet, like saying that, okay, I had 100 calls today, or I met like 50 people today, and 49 people were nice to me. One person was not nice to me, which is fair, right? Why am I focusing on only one person who was not nice to me, and I'm not focusing on the 49 people who were really nice to me? And this is how you need to dispute the victim state that you're in. You need to dispute the negative thoughts and beliefs that you have created in the past. And once we start challenging those irrational beliefs and thoughts, the effect or consequence of challenging self-defeat beliefs comes up, which is kind of getting back into a positive state of mind, coming out of the negativity. So when we look at those 24/7 news channels, or which are kind of all negative news, or we scroll the social media and there's so much negative news, negative comments of people, and it affects us because our thoughts get influenced, we get affected by those negative comments, negative news, and we somehow do not see the brightness in the world, the positivity of the world, and we get sucked into the negativity of that news. And that, again, if you can relate back to my example earlier, could be one bad thing happening and 49 good things which are happening and nobody's talking about it, and which are getting missed. So this is, my dear friends, called ABCDE model of rational behavior therapy, where you need to challenge your beliefs, especially the irrational ones. Be more aware of the irrational beliefs, dispute them, and change the effect. Because if you don't dispute them, then you will have a negative emotional state of mind. You will get into negativity, and it's going to affect your entire life. So let us look at some practice exercises. Journaling or self-reflection and identifying thoughts. So we need to be aware of our thoughts and of our feelings. So journaling is one thing. You start writing down what are you thinking, what are you thinking. So all those thoughts, once you put them on paper, you will realize what you're thinking more better. You need to also journal your feelings. I felt really bad. I felt very bad 3 times a day, which means now we are becoming aware. The second thing is breathing. Relaxed breathing. The more you breathe in a relaxed manner, fill up your lungs and give your body the oxygen it needs. Because when we are sitting and working most of the times, we are not expanding our lungs enough. We're not getting enough oxygen into our blood, which again affects our mood, affects our ability, our cognitive abilities, and everything. Mindfulness meditation is another very important thing that we can try. Mindfulness is about being aware of what's happening around us in this moment. So moment by moment awareness of when you're talking to somebody, look into their eyes and be there in that moment. Don't try to jump, in the past, or jump into the future and try to get scared of the future, which is kind of uncertain. But your mind keeps jumping from past to future. Stay in the present moment. That's mindfulness meditation. Gratitude prayer has scientifically proven to be a great tool in staying positive. Every time something negative happens in your life, please shift your focus to what all great things are there in your life. Look at your family, friends, house, job. There's so many things that are great in your life and that you should be thankful for. So reframe negative thoughts. Don't just say, okay, I've got this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem. Instead of calling difficult situations a problem, call them a challenge. Okay, so it's just changing certain words, reframing those thoughts completely changes our view. For example, when you get up, instead of saying, I got to go to work, I have to go to work, I have to do this, I have to do this. If you change the have to, I'm so delighted to do it. I'm glad I'm getting an opportunity to go to work. I'm glad I'm getting this opportunity to meet so many people. I'm glad I have a job. So reframe that from have to I'm glad that I have the opportunity. Focus on your strengths and do not focus on your weaknesses. Focus on others' strengths and do not focus on their weaknesses. Be it your spouse, be it your manager, your children. Don't look at their weaknesses. Focus on their strengths. Then we have the growth mindset, which is a book, amazing book, which talks about there is no dearth of opportunity, which means we all keep growing and growth is a natural part of us. So there's always a way out. There is always a way to grow. That's growth mindset. Nobody is fixed. It's like, okay, you are this much intelligent and you'll stay that intelligent for the rest of your life. Now, we all will keep growing and will becoming wiser and wiser. Some mind traps very quickly. I know it's a long session now. Avoid polarized thinking, all or nothing, ignoring complexity, which means don't take sides. The moment we take sides, we either attack or defend. Avoid masturbation, again given to us by Dr. Albert Ellis, which says avoid using terms like must, have to, and should. I'll repeat, must, have to, and should need to be avoided. Instead of that, you can say you need to, I need to, I'm glad we are doing this, or it'll be really good if we do this. But don't avoid using must, have to, and should. Avoid catastrophization, which means if our belief system says that, I may lose the job and everything bad is going to happen, we end up thinking about the worst situation. Don't do that. This completely destroys your confidence. Avoid trying to control everything and everybody. Never try to control everything and anybody. The only thing that you can control is your actions. Rest you can't control. Avoid compulsion to be right all the time. Don't try to be right all the time. You don't have to. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Avoid taking strong positions, as we said. Avoid taking strong positions for or against. Like in a debate, when we take a strong position, it's a recipe of anxiety and quarrels and arguments. Avoid labeling and blaming. Again, a big problem. We judge people, we put names, this person is an idiot, that person is intelligent, or it's because of this person that I'm in this condition. So we blame others, we put labels on others. Again, a mind trap to be avoided. Avoid the trap of fairness and the right thing to do, as I said earlier as well. Taking a strong position, my way or the highway, or I have to be right all the time. That's too much of stress and anxiety and negativity. This brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much for your time today.